Acquiring leads, working volume. Acquiring leads, working volume. There's all these bullshit concepts like you can't take a girl to dinner because you're being a provider. I buy girls drinks all the time. I see on the forums cats being like, oh. How many of you guys like day game? How many of you guys like day game? No. Out of the 940 women I've fucked, maybe like 20 of them have been day game. It's generally like a giant fucking waste of time. I'm friends with all the top day gamers. It's generally a fucking waste of time. Like, how many good phone numbers are you getting per hour in day game? If you tell me 12, I'll tell you fucking bullshit. Alright? In general, I think day game is a waste of time. You can't really escalate. Isolation isn't a thing. The chick's usually busy. I also think Snapchat and Instagram are bullshit for trying to get closes off that shit. I agree that putting your social media to a girl is a bad idea. All it takes is one low value post or something she disagrees with politically or whatever, and you're done. So, I always tell girls, I don't have any social media. I have no Snapchat, no Instagram. I don't use Facebook for ads, and that's it. So, here's another big point. A lot of the community stresses that you're going to get laid a lot from polls. I don't know anyone better than me at polling. I'm very good at polling. But the majority of your closes are going to come from dates. If you go out 4 nights in a week, I always tell guys you should be getting 10 to 15 phone numbers. That's 40 to 60 leads per week. If you close 2 of them per week consistently in 52 weeks, that's 104 closes a year. I don't know almost anyone doing 100 closes a year, but it's not that hard. Everyone's just doing it wrong. What you need to be doing is acquiring leads, working volume, which is mostly going to come from night game, managing those leads systematically and properly for day meetups, which is very specific texts and ways of dealing with objections, ways you deal with them not replying, very specific ways, deal with them rescheduling, to deal with them canceling. I just built up this giant flowchart detailing everything that's involved in that. I think text game is the core of getting laid, and I didn't realize that until I flowcharted it all out. Yes, you need good game in person to get solid numbers. Yes, you need to have a good profile with professional pictures to get solid Tinder and Bumble leads, but managing those leads is the fucking key, okay? The key, and all the guys I know that are crushing a lot of ass, like Alex, David, those cats, they are setting up multiple dates a day, and they're just knocking them down. They're not all going to close. Some of them you're going to need a second date. Some of them are going to be full prude and want a relationship. It doesn't matter. The point is, if you set up multiple dates a day, you're going to start fucking 100 girls a year. Per year. We do, typically if you do a show of hands, there's only 4 guys above 200. Anyone can do 100 years. Oh, the last part, retention. A lot of guys think I'm just about lay count. There's plenty of retention in my game, player. Okay, first of all, you don't need to sacrifice quality to get a high lay count. In fact, having better quality helps you get a better lay count. Most of the girls, if you follow my Instagram, above an 8. Most of that whole count, except the first 100, are pretty hot chicks. Almost all of them.
Take the next right onto Wilshire Boulevard.
If you've seen my WhatsApp group where I was posting every close, talk about how are the chicks. There was a lot, and they were a lot hot. Yeah. I'm big on retention, dog. There's plenty of days where I will see 3 or 4 fuck buddies and not go on new dates. Like plenty of days. I usually run 6 to 12 girl rotations. I like to have hot, cool chicks on a rotation, and I treat them all really well. The big thing with the rotation is you treat them like a princess, but you're not a pussy about it. So if they fuck with you, or they talk to other guys in front of you in public, or they disrespect you in any way, you give them a stern warning, and then you cut them off and replace them if they don't fucking get it together. Other than that, treat them really well. I'm not like a cold asshole to these girls. I actually get very attached to my main chick. My main chick is usually like a 9-5 that's like full package. And she's like a girlfriend without the label. And I like treat her really well, and I take her on dates and all this shit. There's all these bullshit concepts to me. Like, you can't take a girl to date because you're a provider. Bullshit. I take tons of girls on dates. You can't buy a girl a drink. I buy a girl a drink almost every time I'm out in the nightclub. If you're that broke that you can't buy a girl a drink, I see on the forums like, oh, this girl wanted me to call an Uber and she was totally down to DTF, and I didn't want to be a provider, so I lost a lay. Are you that dumb that you're gonna lose a lay over $10? In Europe, that's like a couple dollars. When you go out, minimum you should be getting 5 numbers. You should be getting a phone number as a rule from every girl you open, unless she gives you a really hard fuck off. Other than that, you need to know when to cut bait, because most guys are just running their wheels, spinning their wheels instead, having endless conversations go nowhere when the girl's either not into them or they have terrible logistics to pull home. So what you need to be doing is making a real-time probabilistic assessment of, is this girl going to close with reasonable amount of time? Is her logistics decent? If a no, you get a phone number, set dates, that's it. So you need to be working volume, okay? You should put a daily calendar reminder for whatever time you're usually free. If it's 10 p.m., it's 5 p.m. when you're off work, whatever. Put a daily reminder to use Tinder and Bumble. The CEO of Tinder said the algorithm works. The more you use it, the more exposure you get. It's basically like opening. If you didn't go out for a week, you're not going to get any fucking girls. If you didn't use Tinder every day, you're going to get less girls. So use Tinder every fucking day. And like I said before, 2 closes per week is going to get you 100 lays per year. Okay, I think everybody would be thrilled with that. I'll be right back. Do some push-ups. like a huge asshole. I do the most optimal move every time. I'm the dark triad. I'm Machiavellian, narcissistic, Machiavellian. What's the third one? Sociopath. Alright, so I taught a guy who was the #1 salesman in his company, and he said, this is Jordan Belfort's straight line persuasion system. Have you seen The Wolf of Wall Street? That's my favorite movie. I've never studied Jordan Belfort's stuff, but it makes sense that the optimal game method replicates the optimal sales method. Basically, what the straight line persuasion system says is you're moving points along to specific points of compliance, and sometimes they'll diverge, and you bring them back to a straight line. So, the big compliance points, as I've stated, are opening, isolating, escalating, pulling, and then some micro points. Like when you're leaving the club, you're making a big commitment to go home with a stranger instead of seeing their friends, getting into a taxi, going into your apartment. And I've actually found it's about 8 to 12 minutes you have when you're doing a poll before they start bringing up all the objections again and isolating to the big bedroom because they're committing to having sex with you, which shouldn't be a problem if you've been doing this correctly beforehand. But at each of these points, and this is what I train in my boot camp, I teach them, when she gives you resistance on the opening, you do this. When she gives you resistance to isolation, you do this. When she gives you resistance to the makeout, you do this. When she gives you resistance to the pull, there's 14. I think there's 14 main objections I've identified when you try to pull. And I figured out the exact way to deal with them. And I've trained my guys in the boot camp the same way you train your sales team with the Wolf of Wall Street. They're going to say, I need to think about it. I need to check it with my life, blah, blah, blah. And there's specific things you do. It's like, I can't leave my friends. I have to get up early, which happens because I have to get up work. I just met you. I need to stay till the end. You guys heard this shit? I'm a lesbian. I have a boyfriend. I don't fuck with chicks with boyfriends or husbands anymore. You can have some serious fucking threats. So I just stay away from that shit. Same shit every time. I teach guys and I have them memorized. And it's like when they say this, you say this. You're going to get objections every time. And that same sales guy, every sales he makes, he's going to make an objection. And that just means they're interested. It just means they're not comfortable yet. They don't feel safe enough yet. They want to be put at ease mentally. And so you put them at ease. And if you have a female wing, you almost never get objections. I had a bunch of bisexual girlfriends or fuck buddies, and the reporter chick, we just pulled a foursome. For those of you on Instagram, you saw it. We pulled a 19, 20-year-old. Forced it. The boot camp student fucked one of them. I fucked all three of them. There's like no objections because they feel safe because another attractive girl has approved of you already. So it kind of like shortcuts and shit. All objections are coming from the place of, I have to feel safe with you. I don't want to wind up in a one-on-one awkward situation. And I want to make sure I have a way home and whatever. And the reason a lot of that stems from, most guys are fucking losers. Most guys are beta males. And that's where cock blocking comes in. When I approach a girl, I say, hey, I want to meet you. And the girl comes in and says, hey, we're lesbians. All that's communicating is that most guys who talk to my hype friend are fucking losers. I'm going to assume that you're a loser too. Show me that you're fucking not. And all you want to do is be like, hey, I just want to fucking meet you real quick. Be normal, not fancy. Fancy is shit. It's garbage. It gets you nowhere. You don't want to be fancy on the open. You look like a Sarah. You look like you're from Mississippi. All that shit's bullshit. Alright, for 5 years, my opener has been, hi, can I meet you real quick? It's direct, but it's also like low compliance. Real quick. Hey, I want to meet you real quick. What's your name? And then after that, I just say, hey, I just moved here. I'm going to be a DJ, S Club, S&Y. And why do I do that? Because mystery says, when we submit your identity, it imports a whole bunch of shit about you. Okay, this guy has access to women. He's high value. He has an adventurous life. His life is cooler than mine. He's normal. He's cool. Blah, blah, blah. So I say it every fucking time. That's the next thing after my open. I even do that in an online game. When they come from a bragging frame, demonstrations of higher value to this day still work, as long as they come from the right place. If I said, hey, what's up? I'm an accountant. Emotionally flat. possibly even negative value because you sound like a fucking loser. So, why would I say that? I'm an accountant. That's an example. So you want to be fucking cool, you want to be a rock star. I have a Photoshop picture. I have a green screen picture of me in front of basically I was studying with headphones. I was a club DJ before pickup, so it's not like a full live, but even if it's not, you should see it anyways. Standing in front of a green screen like that, and it's like the Tomorrowland backdrop. They know that perfectly, alright? So a lot of chicks are into electronic music, so any chick who bites on that, it's like game over. Oh, you're a DJ? That's fucking awesome. Yeah, Tomorrowland's the biggest electronic music festival in the whole world, and it's in Belgium. And I'm like, yeah, I DJed at Tomorrowland a couple years ago, and they're like, holy shit, I just picked up a 9.5 in Warsaw, and she was 21, and she's like, oh, you're a DJ? That's really cool. Hey, have you heard of Tomorrowland? Oh yeah, I did that 2 years ago. No fucking way. He did that 2 years ago. She told all her hot triple friends. Oh my god, he's DJing Tomorrowland. What am I doing? I'm leveraging status. I have a friend that knows Jonah Hill really well when he was fat. Now he has like pink hair or some shit, you know? And he's got tens going in and out of his trailer all day. Is that because he's in such great shape? No, it's because he's Jonah Hill. So when I convey that I'm a fucking celebrity DJ, it makes the game a lot easier. I'm playing with a lot of the odds in my favor. My verbal's tight, my game's super tight. Everything's very tight. But why am I not going to use that as a niche? Especially with stripper game or hired gun game. You need to submit yourself as industry. And break yourself out of the customer frame. But the biggest key to hired gun game and stripper game are just break yourself out of the frame like the rest of the fucking assholes that are complimenting them and giving them tons of attention. Doesn't matter if you think that shit's fake status. She's not going to be like, prove to me, show me live clips that you're in Tomorrowland. And I am a cool dude. All it's doing is like giving her a big set attraction about you. It's not, I'm not advocating to just be this pretend character in a girl's life. You should actually be cool. And that's another whole topic. For all those guys that are just trying to use outer game tricks and they're actually just fucking loser, it's not going to work. She's going to spot it. I told you, I study a lot of neuroscience, cognitive science. Girls have 10 times more brain matter, which is responsible for interneural connections, and it's responsible for emotional and verbal tasks. Because when you're in tribes, they're fucking basically just getting their tits sucked and gossiping and hanging out with other chicks. And men have 4 times as much white matter, which is responsible for processing, which is why we crush them in logic and math and shit like that, in government. Anything that's logical tasks, it's not social inequality. We have different propensities. You can take a 16-year-old girl and she's going to have greater social intuition than me, even though I've been through tens of thousands of interactions. It's because of how our brains are wired. No. To me, I'm always trying to get an advantage. Look at Dan Bilzerian. He has a huge advantage. Partially because he's rich, but he's leveraging it. It's not like that's the core focus. They also have to like fall in love with you and what you bring to the table. It's getting a big edge to get in the door. With a stripper, if I just act like a regular guy, she's going to run her stripper boots on me, which is, oh hi, you're really cute. Fake IOIs, fake interest. Oh, thank you. And she's just trying to like game you. Instead, I'm like, boom, hey, what's up? I'm going to be DJing at this club the other night. Yeah, I did it at Tomorrowland. Now all of a sudden I separate myself from the whole pack. Now I have an in. And it's not like I'm faking it. I just gave myself an in so I could bang a girl that's close to a 10. And then she falls in love with me. You're giving yourself a good advantage to get your foot in the door. And then from there you take it forward. She ultimately is attracted to you. These girls aren't hanging out with me continuously because they think I'm rich. I'm not paying them anything. They're hanging out with me the sugar daddy girls aren't continuously hanging out with me because I'm rich. I'm fucking like 9s and 10s off that site that are turning down offers of lots of money from guys that are old, low value, fat, married, awkward, etc. I'm contrasting on the other end of the spectrum when they hang out with me, and I have key things that I say that delays the whole pay me thing, and then they fall in love with me. Oh, here, let's go over it. How many of you guys believe in state? Because RSD teaches it, be honest. State. You know, like you arrive to the club, you need to warm up and build up a thing to be able to game properly. How many of you believe in that? Here's why state is bullshit. I have a whole video about it on my channel. RSD teaches that you need to walk in a club and you need to talk to other girls. I never teach that other. You know, that's not misogynistic. I just don't want to fuck other girls. I'm not going to talk to them. Secondly, you should never need to warm up. Okay, this will be probably the most important part of my talk. I want you guys to think of your value, potential, as if it was 0 to 100 scale, set it at 100 now, and never let it go from there for the rest of your life. If your value potential is from 0 to 100, never move it. Make a brick wall. And anything external, rejections, people making fun of you, people not accepting you, whatever it is, nothing can touch that brick wall. You're always 100. I pull mostly my first or second set of the night. That's true. Why? Because you need to start viewing every set as a vacuum, which means it doesn't matter if it's the first set of the night. It doesn't matter if it's the 30th set of the night. It doesn't matter if it's 9 p.m. or it's 3 a.m. You need to be on at all times because you're not faking pickup.
Continue on West Olympic Boulevard.
You're high value at all times. Instead of start saying all this cheesy shit, it's all wrong. You need to be an alpha guy for real, and you need to be at 100 out of 100 at all times. And when you do that, girls will respond to it. When you believe that you are at 100 out of 100, girls will respond to it. Here's the problem with state. RSD teaches that you need to build up to 100. Okay, I'm at 40%, I'm at 50%. I walk in the club, I'm at 40%, I need to talk to a bunch of fat chicks or have a bunch of throwaway interactions. You could have pulled those girls. Not the attractive ones, but the hot ones. You could have pulled them if you thought you were cool enough. What you were doing is self-handicapping. So if you walk in on a chick and you're like, this is my first one, it doesn't count, or it's a throwaway, you are handicapping yourself. Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. And you're unsure of yourself. Why? Because you think your value is at 40%. What I did was I invited her out on a regular date. I ended up banging her. At her office too at the particular job that was bleeped out. So that shows you a typical interaction. It's nothing fancy going on here. You're injecting some physicality where you can be normal. Getting her phone number, telling her about how you guys should hang out. Do that 5 to 15 times, and I promise you, especially with the leads machine, which is linked to in the description, that'll allow you to take your phone numbers and get them in at meetups, and it's very easy to close dates. The big problem that guys have is setting up the dates in the first dates. Either phone numbers flake on them, the girl starts replying, they don't know what to text next, they're doing things completely incorrect. Luckily, I have identified that as a major source of people losing leads, or what's known as phone numbers, and never having an opportunity to meet those girls. And never having an opportunity to bang them. That's going to get you lots of dates and lots of opportunities to close. This is a good thing to remember. why you should marry a stripper. We're going to be doing these regularly. We got a lot of cool topics. Both of us bring a lot of real shit to these conversations. That's why it's a good podcast. We can make audio versions too. Sup, everybody? GI here. Today, we're going to go over strippers, everybody's favorite topic. We got a bunch of cool shit to cover about strippers. I have a lot of experience with these wonderful creatures. Date them and love them. Hate them and love them. Same time. Going over the internal mentality and mindset of a stripper. What I want to talk about is the internal workings, the lead, a stripper. And we're going to talk about where she came from and how she got to this stripping. Beginning, middle, end. So first she started as a little stripper sperm. So first, the stripper actually started as a normal person, okay? This lasts for about 12 years. Talking about girls who do porn, escorts, or webcam, just straight up working at strip clubs. Strippers are basically your average girl till about age 12. You didn't give a fuck. I lost my career. It forever changed our relationship. Strippers become damaged around age 12. In some ways, they have two sides of their head. One side is hating men, which leads them to want to put attention strictly on themselves. The other side is they want something traditional, but on the other side, they hate men. So it creates this hybrid about what their end game is. I found a lot of strippers have really shit self-esteem, very low self-esteem. Due to the fact that a lot of them had these bad encounters. What the case was, they have low self-esteem, dual parts of the brain, what it's based around, And then also usually they want to be able to leverage their looks to be able to get money and manipulate men. And this just leads back to there's an anger for men that's underlying. The anger, you have to understand, is that is the driving force behind a lot about it. Something very traumatic happened to them. If something happens to me or to you, it stays in the back of our minds whether we like it or not. You can overcome things, but there are underlying tones of it, and it will leap back on it sometimes. They have these little odd jobs between 12 and 17, like at a car wash or something. A lot of them leave home sooner than 18, so now they're venturing out. They all start with a restaurant. Hooters. Basically like a hired gun, a girl who's hired for her beauty, and a lot of times those restaurants like Hooters or Twin Peaks, Tilted Kilt. These places are breeding grounds for them to encounter other creatures like themselves. It's like a cesspool.